Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Lich. Spirit Breaker.
Dire team pick.
Tiny.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Bristleback!
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Dazzle!
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Clinks!
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Slada.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Bat Rider!
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Prepare
series.
for battle.
This is the last match of the lower bracket. The winner will move on straight to the finals. The loser will drop out, and both of these supports will find each other. And should probably figure out that there's some more shenanigans going on. But Neuer, look at him. He already has the Orb of Venom helping him to trade a little bit. If you can now guess where the Observer Ward is, that will be an extra bonus. He does have a Sentry Ward. Plopping it down for now. Actually, both wards being committed down here in the bottom lane for Team Spirit.
That is very aggressive. Especially for a team that seems to only be running their Bat Rider down there. So... Oh, and I'm saying support Slardar, but this is of course PCC.
Yeah.
30 seconds to battle.
Might have swapped it, you weren't looking. But yeah, FNG and Van Score, of course, on the supports. Iceberg on his mid-tiny. So far so good. DK4 was on his Bat Rider, but... For C9, we've got Hestijo on the Bat. And he's taking that offlane. Might have some help from Rise there on the Lich. Baby Knight is going to be that mid-bristle by the looks of it. And with Ace on the Clinks as expected. In the safe lane and Neuer, he will be roaming around.
The battle begins.
Okay, so that means you don't have that the Bat Rider battle matchup, but Klings should also be able to handle that quite well.
Yeah, he can keep his distance and answer with some fire of his own. And I very curious to see how this mid matchup is going to work out. Because I haven't seen a bristleback mid in a long time. And this should really be his kind of matchup to win, but an IO Tiny can always get enough house lane. Oh,
Especially with a nice little toss back here. No bristleback pass. Oh, actually, he did use skill to pass it first. Might be saving his life here, actually. Without that, he might die still, and he does. God damn it.
oh, he just got
Actually puts
outplayed.
down, yeah.
Like they,
There's not a whole lot the Rise can do. He's going for the sacrifice first, of course, to try and deny the ring. Great.
yeah, but they had the ward down. They could actually see the IO waiting at the tower, and they did not realize it implied that the tossback was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, definitely paid the price for it here. Iceberg just making use of that toss plus the insane amount of right-click damage that he starts off with. And,
Yeah, he should not be falling for that one again.
Well, I think it's better though with extra levels. Baby Knight gets a couple of curl sprays, he can start pressuring a little bit more. But then again, Vensko already has the bottle, and he'll probably be thinking about sticking another tossback
Oh,
actually.
there we go
Baby Knight.
again.
This is carbon copy of what just happened here. The Tether Slow comes through and another kill.
Oof.
This time shared with the tower damage getting the last hit, but damn. Don't think they wanted this to work out like that.
No, not at all. Like, he wasn't prepared for the IO taking out the entire wave with that avalanche. And then he was all on his own. And the toss would always get him once again.
This is already actually a disaster. Someone say that Rise should probably help out top or something instead, and leave Baby Knight to his own devices to just so.
They're going on DK Phobos bot.
Oh, yeah. Ace has 2 stacks of napalm on top of him. No big thing to worry about.
No bashes coming out of Noya just yet.
I think he got one right after the charge. Which just wasn't enough because DK Phobos, he was far enough away. He kind of smelled that coming. Not sure if the ward actually on his high ground spotted it out.
Yeah, well, if you're Team Spirit right now, you're going to be really happy with how this is going. The only lane that, like, C9 is getting anything in is for the Abaddon, who is having a pretty good time here on top.
As you would expect, I mean, of course, he's running out of mana now, though, and they're doing some good body blocks. Hesijo is in a lot of trouble, actually. No help rotating in, and another crush coming through. Secure the kill.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Well, never mind me.
Cast curse. Come on, Gibbs.
Yeah,
You know
I
how this
mean,
works.
not yet.
Oh, pardon me,
not yet.
that is okay. Oh yeah, big credit to the team now. Finally starting to get the bashes in at the right time. And Ace, also level 4, 2 points up and searing arrows. Can do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, so at least C9 get on the board, but I think Noya will have a lot of work ahead of him if he wants to make sure this laning stage ends up at least trading evenly for Cloud9.
He's doing a decent job getting levels. He is getting that pull in, and he can also connect to the hard camp potentially. DK was already setting up the farm with himself, though. Starting to stack up
Yeah,
on napalm, so C9 have to realize this. And they do. Ace is right there. Charge coming through. Chasing him out if nothing else. Fire is still burning. And getting some of these creeps.
They were a bit late on that, honestly. They had the ward watching everything. If they do the charge earlier, they might actually get him.
That was the result as well. He couldn't go for the connection. So now you have more or less a double wave coming through.
Yeah, if I'm them, I would probably just turn this into tower pressure instead. You don't really have any other choice. DK Phobos is going to get the experience anyway.
Playing very well, actually.
Yeah, very impressive. Like, the only sort of point of light here is that Ace is actually level 5, which is the highest on the board. And if he gets his early level 6 up and he...
Oh, wow. Again.
He was very far forward.
Yeah, he's just playing like he's invincible right now. But... I don't know if it's just inexperience with the hero, because I don't think I've seen Hesijo play Battlefield before.
No, I don't think so either. And Abaddon is a great hero for running at people, but just like in the previous time when we saw him die, he runs short on mana very easily. And if you have no aphotic shield, you're done. Just a melee guy with a... Well, he's actually leveling Curse of Avernus instead of Mistcoil. So he is looking to be more of a core than of a support kind of Abaddon.
Yeah, this is kind of the build that I've been seeing in China as well. Just don't go for Mistcoil at all, just Aphotic Shield because of Avernus, just so you can start fighting. Get that extra attack speed in. Would be useful for things as well, especially. Now lane, last part of the Avalanche still connecting here. Now Baby Knight and Rise actually battling up for their life. Hessijo makes rotation through. Baby Knight actually looking to try and bring down Vanskov first, with Stick Charges keeping him alive for a time being. Now it's Baby Knight he's running alone, health as well as mana. The rest of Team Spirits starting joining the fight as well. DK Phobos, does he has a haste rune? No, it's just natural fast. It's riding down the fire. Rise will fall, so will Baby Knight. None of them is even breaking a sweat. Neuer has to charge away all the way to the bottom lane to survive.
Sustain coming out of that IO right there.
Dire's bottom
It's like once he sticks up, the Tiny is also just immediately so much healthier again.
Yep.
And all of those quill stacks do nothing if they get used against you like that.
Yep. Baby Knight spent so much time trying to burst down this IO. just wasn't enough here. Only level 2 quill spray at the time. Now, just now hitting level 3.
And Iceberg just keeps going. There's the
now
toss back again.
Well, this time around Baby Knight is a little bit higher level, I suppose. So as a result, tankier. Still,
The catapult nearly finishes him. Yeah, I don't think like the bristleback is a nice theory craft, but
oh, the Korea ace! He almost got him, but he lost vision, and now with him revealing himself like that, they'll probably be careful with the Korea here. What's actually on that? Just a clarity right now.
yeah, so he is rotating early with all of those levels, and he's found the stack. Is he going to take this, or is he just going to sneak a creep out and then leave again?
He's just gonna eat a creep and try and find something to kill. I really like this decision too. He's farming it even.
Stacks are much more of an investment right now because of the extra time dedication needed. So this is a good way to...
Middle lane, look at this. Hessijo just kind of posturing a little bit. The charge was coming through, was cancelled though. Vanskov still not dying here maybe. Shallow Grave comes through just to keep him alive a little bit longer, but Hessijo still looking for the kill. Meanwhile, BZ also makes rotation, gets a crush on 3 heroes. The toss onto Ace makes sure that he dies a lot. Now Neuer finally coming through. So far it's a 1-for-1, but Rice is also burning, so is Hessijo and Neuer in the middle of all of that. The Aphotic Shield enough to bring them over the edge and kill the Tiny, but at what cost? Baby Knight is still fighting up against BZ, but he's starting to run out of health points. He's trying to get in front of him here for the crush and the bash into the face with that big old trident, or whatever this thing is called. Team Spirit
Yeah.
3 and 11 is the kill score. 10 minutes in, not even. This is looking kind of scary because this isn't even how the games against Effects started. Because Effects had some early advantages, but Team Spirit was still able to close it out very convincingly. So if you then give Team Spirit such a start, it really gotta work.
Yeah, this is looking really difficult for them, and the only one that got anything out of the fight
look
really
at
is the Abaddon.
Finds Iceberg so low after farming the creeps, and he does die. Just in time now. Vanskov charge up so you can keep vision, get a couple of extra right clicks in. FNG is there with the Shell Grave, but she should still end up falling. Neuer can keep top of him. Tether over to BZzo, the protector of all. Also keeping track of Ace. DK Phobos also making rotation. Extra dust just for the extra slow.
He is still so
ultimate
fast.
also runs out. Yeah, they should be able to find him still though. Yeah.
Just on the edge.
Rushing his ultimate. On a dominating spree.
I think that's still worth it for him though.
Dire's structures are fortified.
He gets the... Well, actually there's a lot of gold going to the Slardar just now. But he did get the Tiny once again. and it is vital for C9 to try and keep that guy's momentum down as much as possible right now. The Slaughter and the Bat Rider are doing just fine for themselves, but if you at least can keep the Tiny down a bit, you're not quite at the point yet where they'll just rush down your towers and you'll have to sit in base and look at them doing it.
So if you really think about it here, the longer the game goes, the more it's gonna get apparent. The Tiny is actually the only big damage output. I mean, both Slaughter and Battle. Both of those popped, so big advantage there, but maybe they can try and turn this around and charge. Ace also does general vicinity. Very aggressively here, but now with TP through, relocate as well from Vanscore and just say, well, maybe not. Leave Neuer to die.
He underestimated how much Team Spirit wants to defend that tower.
It was the plan though, maybe they wanted to force out the rotation stops. Ace could do this, rotate back, burst down Vanscore to relocate back into it. Now, Lich ultimate, not really bouncing back to Iceberg until just now. With a Dust and Ace, that means that he can't go back in, but DK Phobos, well, he has other plans. He's looking to drag someone back with the lasso, that'll be Rise, but instantly cancels. He had a nice aphotic shield there from Messenger. Oh yeah, starts to be spread. Another charge coming through on Tiny with the extra bash, but no follow-up damage as Ace trying to deal with DK Phobos here, not even caring about Firefly. This mobility and battle is insane.
Yeah, and the Baron is going to go back in right now.
Card, aphotic shield keeping him alive a little bit longer. Trying to go for the charge, but another toss will just him off. Team Spirit is just here in force. I'm looking for Rise again. Amplified damage to keep track. And a toss. Well, who needs a blink if we can have a toss crush instead?
Yeah, they are so fluent with this Tiny, if you know what I mean. There is no hesitation on any of these tosses. They know exactly how the mechanics of this hero work, and they are using it to the maximum.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He's still always trying to go for these quick snipes, and he's finding them. Not right now, of course, the shrine. But that doesn't really stop Team Spirit from taking these good trades.
And it's worth mentioning that there's actually no towers down yet. This is just 15 kills. They've just been murdering people, and they haven't even been getting objections off of it yet. Objectives.
BZZ. I think there was a blind crush attempt on he's there. He's walking across the sentry earlier.
He was just out of range of that sentry again.
Rise as well. Plants on an observer, gets immediately the award because Vanscore is spawning out every single bit of that movement.
Yeah, Cloud9 just cannot catch a break right now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So,
and
do you think they need to try and slow down, just get some extra farm on their course?
No, it's very hard to say. Normally I would say that you need to split the map more. But with the IO Tiny relocate just always threatening to be there, that's very hard to actually execute.
Barely getting away.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Interesting to see Iceberg actually being the one to go for Blink first, and Slaughter going back for the Armlet instead. It does make a lot of sense considering that's really amplifying his damage output, and they need stuff like that. We want Ace Rise. Poor guy. Ace might be able to do something with that, especially with the ultimate bouncing through. 1, 2, maybe not enough even. Oh yeah, just charges through, gets a kill, but he should die for his sins. And he does.
FNG actually didn't have enough mana for the grave there.
I was wondering why they didn't come out.
I was like, nah, he's gonna be all pro and do it at last moment, but... And they might be able to claim another tower here if they play this very carefully now. No. Team Spirit is coming back in.
Now. Triggers him right off the bat. Stop that lasso. BZZ now coming in though. They do get another toss back on the short lane. A lot of damage already being done inside the fire. And there's a charge through for the control. Neuer might die again, and he will. But BZZ started going deep here actually. He has a Shallow Grave, still has Jigstars available, goes for the double crush, finds Bat finally. Baby Knight trying to bottle up in the middle of that. can't quite find enough burst cracks for a kill on the important heroes, and that's BZ just goes in like that. One more, there it is. Not quite. Yalm talks his way to victory. So far so good, but the supports are down. That's where the sustain comes from Team Spirit. So Baby Knight smells an opportunity to try and kite around BZZ and Iceberg. Vanskar relocates in to try and help. Meanwhile, the back, DK forwards. He's going on a killing spree, and now all of a sudden it's Baby Knight all alone until Neuer comes in with a charge of 3 heroes. Avalanche still comes through. Tiny so low still throughout this entire fight, but finally Baby Knight secures himself a triple kill.
Oh, and the IO ended up taking the dazzle back, which is not really what you want to have happen right there.
That was such a long and crazy fight. 4 for 4 trade in the end or something like that? According to these, but I think I'm not sure. Keep in mind,
not
twice.
Actually sure. I love the communication from Team Spirit during that fight. You could clearly see that FNG said to BZZ, alright, you can go in, I will grave you, you'll get that armlet toggle off, no worry. And the Slardar just goes ham. Yeah.
Like more than once I was just expecting a random cold spray to come out, and at that point you only had like 3 or 4 stacks I think. Now Ace scouting this out for Vanskar. He doesn't relocate or anything, so he should end up falling. Neuer with a couple of right clicks, but at what cost again? Iceberg gets a toss into loving arms of BZZ, and Neuer, well, he can go in, but he cannot leave these situations. Rise almost caught out of the crush too.
Yeah, and this is exactly the kind of scenario where I'd say that C9 should expect Team Spirit to be there in full force. They've always been reacting with 5 heroes. So I would actually like to see a bit more split pressure on the lanes instead of the Bristleback and the Abaddon hanging around mid.
Yeah.
And sort of watching as their carry dies. Because they can't fight that. So why bother being in the neighborhood?
The thing is, you also always have to account for relocate. So if you don't gank the IO Tiny, if you gank everybody else, they're gonna come in anyway. So I think the general idea is correct, to just try and go for these pickoffs. But they need more wards on, they need more intelligence on where everyone else is. Ideally, you want to try and push a lane or something, put on some pressure, force DPs, and then find the IO Tiny so they can't have that quick support coming through.
Yeah, and it's very hard when playing from behind. Yeah, because you don't feel like you can take these fights, and you kind of know that you're going to die if you go into them.
This could turn into something here. Lasso wasted on the battle soul. So Hessejo just showing himself mid. Neuer also not breaking the smokes in case anyone comes near. Will be a bit of extra protection, an early warning system if you will.
Yeah, Team Spirit should know that this is going on. Both of the towers are just falling. No one is reacting to it.
TPing in now, Iceberg goes for the Avalanche toss combo. Neuer will fall to it more or less. Maybe in the middle of that will already use Aegis. Lich ultimate, nice delta split there to mitigate the effectiveness, and now C9, well, all they got from that is the money. He's still losing quite a few heroes. Don't think they're gonna get any kills over this unless Ace can do something crazy, but it's actually being caught out by the lockdown. Hessejo helping me out with the 40 shields and on task. Gonna be enough damage here with DK Phobos also blinking in and spewing fire everywhere. Baby Knight being kited, meanwhile Team Spirit just wrecking
through not gonna live another 8 seconds.
By one. Baby Knight might get the kill here on DK Phobos, but he might not. He's just flying all across with the Charlotte Grave protecting him. Neuer comes in again, tries to put on some control. And Baby Knight will use that space to kill BZZ for quite a bit of gold. But Shrine is up, so that means it's the end of the line for them here. Okay, actually forward, Iceberg with a blink. They really want to kill this guy. And they do with the massive amounts of bursts from the front. I don't know, Gibbs. This is just going from bad to worse for Cloud9 right now.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Yeah, Cloud9 got some... Like, they got a tower out of that, and then they immediately got the Aegis down. Immediately killed pretty much everyone, even the Bristleback on the tail end of that. So... there's not any net win for C9 coming out of that.
Fights FNG. Showing himself, yes, he gets bashed up by the charge. Ace also hanging around, but the entirety of Team Spirit is closing in on this location. And you've gotta be super careful. There is Raiden setting down.
is a double damage Tiny if you...
God, no. He shows himself. Blink, Avalanche, toss, BZ with the follow-up. Easy death.
Oh.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
What do you do
Middle
here?
tower is under attack.
I don't think this line was really well
Dire's
equipped
top tower is under
to
attack.
fight from behind and still win.
No, not from behind at all. Like, their goal was to hold up during the laning stage through their
Lasso,
tanky
Defiant
heroes.
Rise. Bad for the Euphoric Shield. Moya goes for a little bit of extra control, but the ball lost the hero Baby Knight. An okay amount of damage here with the Blade Mail on the flyer. DK Phobos might take his build, but shall Great TP to prevent him to stop it. Yes, they do have the bash. Just in time for Noya. Baby Knight will get the kill. Now the charge on the BZ. He's running out of mana now. Still has the armor target, still has stick charges galore, and Vensko and Iceberg say, hey, we're also still in this game. We are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, but they were relocating in and they're also gone again now. And that is actually a win for Cloud9.
Yeah.
Team Spirit going just a little bit too hard there.
It's worth remembering that with this kind of network deficit, actually it's not all that big actually if you look at the graphs. 3k in favor of Team Spirit, 6k in terms of experience. Still, every single kill, like a major victory for C9 right now.
Yeah, for sure. And they traded 2 for 2 there, which is a huge amount of gold going the way of Baby Knight again. So he is going to get huge. And if C9 are able to drag this game longer, they are going to stand a bit more of a chance. So, oh, Ace going for the courier in mid.
Dire's courier
Patient
is
for that,
under
gets a
attack.
snipe, and now he just has to get the hell out of there. Not the invis in a couple of seconds. We do have DK Phobos in this general area, but no detection. So this time Ace is not punished, and in fact he's perhaps looking for more. Doing his best to give them the intelligence that they've been lacking so far. They have a lot of water on the map though.
Yeah, they have the one ward on top, and there's a very defensive one down in their own jungle actually, which is a bit of a weird decision to me. Now I'm not sure what you're looking to catch with that one, unless you're really sure that they're going to come for your bot tower with all they have. And they might be right.
That's what happened when they were setting up that ward. Spirit was making this movement down towards the jungle, but now Baby Knight might be in trouble. Iceberg with the complete Silver Edge, so he can't disable the passive. Instead though, he's looking for the easy kill on Rise, but meanwhile BCC is just controlling up and goes back. For safe things here, Noya charging through. Let's be careful not to be caught out himself now. Iceberg with no toss available. Like to control and good amount of damage. BCC with a double crush. Hesito in the middle of that. They bring down one of the supports here. Now the lasso comes through. Control onto Flings. Burst down from Iceberg. And Baby Knight, he has to do a lot of carrying, but just so much damage being done with that Silver Edge, taking away all the tankiness of that hero, and they're gonna turn it into a rampage for Iceberg. 23 minutes in, and this hero is absolutely unstoppable. 15, 3, and 13. Doesn't even have a completed axe yet. Doesn't even have the AC. But he's still just tearing through everybody, starting to tear through buildings as
Radiant's
well.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, and I want to really give a shout out to the amazing communication between FNG and BCC here once again. Like, they coordinate those in movements of the Slardar so well, and that's just so hard to deal with. If the Slardar gets out every time because he gets heals at exactly the right moment, he's gonna come back in, and those 3-man crushes are always devastating.
They're using that very well. Just the constant in and out, the crushes, just staggering their control. Enough for Iceberg to just be able to go from target to target and not really worry about any sort of counterplay.
Yeah, and Ace is doing the only thing he can, which is...
Being caught out and die?
No. He needs to create space right now, even though he would normally be the guy you'd have to create the space for. he has to keep them on their toes. Once he starts being defensive, Team Spirit can just roll over C9. So he has to keep showing, he has to keep distracting them,
Radiant's top
and
tower is
hopefully
under
stretch
attack.
this game
Radiant
until a
structures are
point
fortified.
where Baby Knight gets too big, which is very hard seeing as that the Silver Edge has been up on the Tiny for a long time. And he has his Aghanims now too.
Radiant's
Stick a
top tower
tree
has been denied.
out of the ground, starts swinging it at people. Very scary prospect. It's also level 15, so we have the plus 60 damage talent. He's hitting for 400 right now, with 25 minutes left. Now, the fight starts defensively, located, nicely done here. FNG being helped out by Venskor, and now Crush comes back here, starting to bring up these corrosive hazes and everybody. Iceberg, meanwhile, looking for a target to pick up and back. Might be Neuer. Look, this one hit and a combo, death on a hero that's supposed to be quite tanky. Meanwhile, Batrider controls the Baby Knight. FNG, Shallow Grid kicking out. The rest of Team Spirit. Oh my god, look at this. Ultimate being triggered now, so Hessinger will survive a little bit longer, but Iceberg has plenty of control. Just wait it out. Meanwhile, Baby Knight's still trying to do what he can. He might get BZZ here, actually. Another Crush, though, will give him enough space to up the clock again.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So he might get Phobos, but he might just stick out to the fire.
Radiant's middle tower
Oh man, Ace trying to go for the kill, but Iceberg gets over plans. Objective based gaming coming through, Avalanche protecting Swift, big charge. And well, trees, Trump buildings. Everything is fine. Somehow he got the toss on the freaking Spirit Break, even though there were like 50 units in front of him.
And C9 can just not catch a break.
Radiant's middle barracks are falling.
And yeah, there we go. That is the GG out. Very impressive Tiny play coming out of Team Spirit. I think you gotta accept that you're going to have a Monkey King or an Ursa instead. Because
Radiant team ban.
Aw, come on.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Monkey King.
Dire team pick.
Juggernaut.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Sniper.
Dire team ban.
Ah.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Ah.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Disruptor!
Radiant team pick.
Vengeful spirit.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Queen of Pain.
Radiant team pick.
Drow Ranger.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Puck!
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. 10 seconds remaining.
Dark Seer.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Keep the pressure off. They are going to lose heroes with this fragile lineup, but they for sure
For
can
battle.
kill more heroes on the other side. So as long as they're not daunted by that prospect and they keep going, I think they got a better shot at this one than at the last one, for sure.
Definitely have to play very close wall, essentially.
Yeah, their margin for error is a lot thinner than Team Spirit's, but their possibility to run away with the game is larger, I think. It's a risk-reward kind of thing, and they said we take the risk, and I can respect that.
It is an elimination game for C9. If they lose this one, then they're out of the tournament for good for the second time in a row, actually, because I don't think they made it in the finals
30
of last
seconds
season.
to battle.
It was a bit of a crazier one though, with an increased prize pool, single elimination, and higher level teams also joining, just because it's one of the first tournaments after 7.0, and the glimpse they actually find Joe. Oh no! We're talking about Disruptor
Best of my kind, but first.
possibly being an issue for the puck. It times the glimpse
The battle
perfectly.
begins.
Yeah, that was very smooth, and I don't think they expected to see the Slardar up there already, because I myself expected him to be down on the bot lane with the Darkseer right from the start, but instead he's top, and Hesijo just gets caught off guard.
Well, already off to a similar start than last game. At the very least, it's not Baby Knight who dies. Arguably, the mid lane a little bit more important, but now we've got Noya up here as well. I can just shrug that off and use the power of the Monkey King. FNG still sticking around here. They will know exactly that this is gone. Tiger Vision, and they go in for the Primal Spring. The slow's coming through. Joe with a little bit of extra right clicks. Quite enough to move the Slaughter down though just yet. But you
Yeah.
imagine these kind of things being a lot more potent once Ace gets a couple of extra levels. Especially once he hits level 6 and this extra damage really starts to mount up for these I think it's Primal Spring actually. That's
Yeah.
going, yeah.
The aggression
This might
does not
actually
let
turn
up.
some. There it is, a couple of right clicks. Has to Joe pick that one up. Moya takes quite a bit of damage though, and he will get caught by the crush, so they'll have to trade 1 for 1.
That is worth it for sure, though. Spirit are dedicating 3 heroes to that lane, and right now Cloud9 are getting just as much out of them as out of this lane as them.
Starting to chew through the region here. BZC's South was also cancelled.
Radiant's
Eventually he's gonna get the
bottom
healing
tower
ward,
is under
but
attack.
until then, slight advantage, but no, the Passenger dies here. Another problem spring to turn this around. FNG started to drop low and he will die. BZC also not exactly healthy as Bounding Strike comes out to control, do a little bit of extra damage. Ragtag's not gonna be enough to keep Noya alive. Passenger might actually get the kill, and he does. Will he survive himself though? Vanscore almost
Oh, the
dies to
creeps.
creeps, but he does survive with about 30 health points. And that's Joe. So lucky himself.
7 kills at 2
It's
minutes,
crazy,
and they
isn't
have all been up on this top lane.
Gift from the tempest of battle.
Oh man. I guess Ace is happy he's getting complete free from that bottom. Obviously not a whole lot of Darkseer can do. In fact, he's in Radius. He found himself in Nimbus Rune. Ready to poke at Baby Nate. And he should figure that out now. Yeah. Oh god.
And
He's
Iceberg is
Dyer's middle tower is
Maybe
under
that's
attack.
was
taking
actually
trouble.
not doing as well.
It's being slowed
Yeah.
down. DK Phobos can easily surge forward if he wants to, but he's just
Ooh!
wow. One more tick, two more ticks from the Shadow Strike, but I think the Tango will heal. No! I think normally Tangos are enough, but okay, no, it's never mind. It's still 2 Shadow Strike. We don't heal through that. Oh, Baby Knight was like misplay. He knew that there was an Darkseer there. He felt the
Top's
picks
going
from the
again.
Archer. Okay. This time we kill a Noya without a counter kill. Spirit.
Dyer's bottom tower is
Yeah,
under
that's
attack.
actually unexpected. They've been punishing Team Spirit every time they went forward. But this time the damage was a bit too spread out.
At the very least, you finally run through all of that region, so these 2 support heroes have to walk all the way back to base.
Yeah.
BZZ, only level 3, so that's another thing that they've at least been accomplishing, just keeping the supports up top and making sure that they have to share XP with BZZ.
Yeah. So I really like this laning stage out of C9 so far. They're getting everything they want for Ace. They're keeping the top lane nice and busy. And it's actually gotten to the point that Noya can roam if he wants to now.
Rise. He got so lucky there. Arrived a couple of steps earlier to this bottom rune, which was a haste rune. If FNG gotten that would have been 100% a kill on Rise. But as it stands, even if he uses it, it's like a wind buff rune on top of it. So.
He does lose a rune ward for it though.
Yeah.
So that's some good awareness out of FNG to at least get something of a trade. And oh!
The courier spotted him. His name's what? Baby Knight's actually super low in health. Yeah, you might just dive this, and he does. He needs some help on Baby Knight, but he's not getting it. A lot of damage being done by shrapnel in the tower, but not enough to actually kill anybody.
Yeah, and there
He
is.
could have come in there and maybe done something. No.
I mean, he was very low. It all went very fast. The only one I think that could have done anything was Noya. But I see he's been up to some things, so he probably had a lot of abilities on cooldown. And they do not have anything like a Dazzle that can just TP in and save the day.
Well, on the bright side, Ace is getting closer and closer to zone 6. He should almost have it with his creepy edge, shouldn't he? Maybe not quite.
He is
Dyer's top tower
nearly
is under
there.
attack.
Meanwhile, up top, look at this. BZZ actually starting to very well though. Another bottle strike not available, but does have a primal spring. Walking forward, Joe. This time around, the glimpse was not enough. Well timed there with the Johns, but middle lane again. Iceberg and FNG working together to bring down the
Radiant's
snipers.
middle
Once
tower
again,
is under
left
attack.
alone.
Yeah, that's the price you pay for putting Noya on this top lane. And Team Spirit sort of forced that with the Queen of Pain pick, because you can't get kills on a Queen of Pain with just a roaming Monkey King there.
So, do you think C9 can actually recover from Baby Knight being put under so much pressure in mid? Just on basis of like Pro, Aura, and the other lanes? Oh, actually top lane. Can't be Z, took quite a bit of damage from that.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of it depends on the timing of this Slaughter Blink Dagger, because that's their gap closer to get on top of the Drow, get on top of the Sniper. And if they don't get the Blink Dagger, Spirit is actually in trouble, because they will just get, well, blinked away at
Just
the
going straight up
distance.
an Ace, the FNG did everything to try and slow him down. The stun, the silence was still fast enough for the sprint. Iceberg was also there with a blink right on top of Ace. And they get the kill.
Yeah, very nice. And that was just when he hit his level 6 too, so no tempo coming out of that damage boost just yet.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Let's get back in a moment. Maybe not even win for the bracer. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, he is not having a fun time, but I think that's kind of what he signed up for. Once the Queen of Pain pick came out, and they picked up the sniper so early. Gave Spirit plenty of time to think about a good reaction. And yeah, FNG was not about to let his runes get sniped again.
Really like the way
He's
he's
doing
playing
sniping
Starter.
attack.
He's just constantly finding stuff to do on the map. Either setting up kills or just, as he did just now, queuing extra bounties.
Yeah, and Team Spirit have really just left BZZ out to dry on this top lane, trading it for some pressure on the Drow instead.
It's fine though, I guess. I mean, he's 3 points up into the queue, into Blade Fury.
Yeah,
It's
and he has that
enough
healing
time.
ward to keep himself going. So it's not like he won't get anything. And they're going on bot lane again.
Stumps on the rise to get caught up, but then goes on the stun and glimpse back down. Yeah. So I just leave it be. He's better walk away.
Dire's top tower
Yeah,
is under attack.
he was walking forward for a bit, like maybe I can slap someone? Maybe not.
Invisibility.
And Neuer all this
He's
time
gotta keep his distance.
has been jumping back and forth on the grid. He's just waiting for an opportunity. But now Iceberg even got himself in this, making an appearance up top, reveals himself to try and go and has He only used the orb, so now easy Omni Slash as well as the Sonic Wave. Maybe a bit of an overcommitment. Small little puck, but they do secure the kill again. Meanwhile down bottom, the rest of Team Spirit still setting up. Trying to bait out DK Phobos a little bit, but I think this movement has been spotted. They know what's going on here, but they mentally get caught out. Ace on that, gets the silence, but Neuer also makes an appearance. That's a bundle strike, is securing one. DK Phobos also dropping low. The Crouch will keep Neuer away as they now have to deal with FNG. They will be able to secure the kill and stay alive, so C9 knew what was coming, able to set up properly for it.
Yeah, very nice. And I think Team Spirit once again underestimated the damage coming out of Cloud9. Because they knew that Baby Knight couldn't come in, so they're like, alright, let's go for this. But instead the two supports are just enough to not deter them, but even get a kill.
Surprise.
Yep. We'll go to. Yeah.
Yeah, two of them.
DK Phobos and the Disruptor. So it's definitely,
Yes, Phobos
yeah,
by
it's
two
definitely
there.
something that C9 desperately needed.
Yeah, and
They
the
need
wall was
to-
committed too, so that threat is also gone for now.
Yep.
And that creates quite a lot of space. So,
Team Spirit don't want to.
Dire's top tower.
look at
That's
Iceberg
it.
hunting down Baby Knight.
Cool BBK. No time at all.
Yeah, this Queen of Pain had a double damage rune and she was just like, you know what, I fancy some dwarf for dinner.
Yeah.
And she nearly got him
Dire's
too.
top tower has been denied.
Top lane, BZ gets it in 9 even.
That's a shame, but that is the first tower down.
Still some extra money, some extra map control as well, and Hasijo, he's also level 8. Haven't talked about that much. We haven't seen a single Dream Call just yet, but if he starts roaming around, if he starts joining these fights to counter-initiate on Team Spirit's aggression, then we might
Yeah.
see even more kills coming through, because that Dream Call
Radiant's
rate
middle
and just
tower is
keeping
under
people
attack.
in range for Ace to keep right-clicking. That's
Exactly.
the hero that's actually sitting on top of the net worth chart despite everything.
Like he dropped a single Dream Call to try and escape from the double ultimate a while back, but that doesn't really count. I'm looking forward to see if Team Spirit actually wants to commit
Trying
into
just
those
to bring
team
down
fights.
Iceberg here, stun. Not quite enough damage though, almost dies. He's dropping down to 20 health points or so.
Very close.
Very bold attempt there, for sure. Now smoke up, Shrine to just bring Iceberg back to full health. He also has an arcade
Dire's
rune,
middle tower is
so
under attack.
it's definitely
Yeah,
something
and
that they want
Neuer-
to use in Ace. Even if he hides under the tower, he should be dying here, but instead Team Spirit looking for an easier target. It's gonna be a Rise. As Zero makes rotation through, they get the Primus paying off, so they want to try and take this fight. They do a decent amount of damage here. Ace coming back in here with a follow-up silence on the Quap. And with the assassinate, just make sure that he dies, and they're actually getting all the right clicks inside the shrapnel. Vanscore, last man standing here, but only for a while longer, so C9 saying, hey, we have our spells and they're pretty damn good. Beautiful control coming out here from the Dream Call, the silence especially. Just being so devastating for Quap. He couldn't get anything off.
Yeah, they were just running around like headless chickens, trying to not break the bond, but they also tried not to stay on top of each other, and the result was just, well, as you said before, the two range heroes plinking away from a distance. Really a model team fight for Cloud9. They'd like that to happen more often for sure.
It's gonna get even worse. Level 12 now to draw ranges. We have level 2 marksmanship plus 52 damage. So just plus 30 or so. True for everybody.
Yeah, and the tower pressure hasn't even started to ramp up yet. But Team Spirit is gonna feel that pretty soon. So they stand to be losing quite some map control, and they haven't made any tempo towards C9's towers as of yet.
Yeah. They still have a pretty good baseline though in terms of farm, especially this Darkseer is actually the highest farm on the dire side. Not sure if you... okay.
My finest work.
Good catch actually. Oh, they found that one, but hey. Darkseer the highest farmer, sometimes you'd say, hey, offlane is the highest farmer. What's that about? Actually, look at this item build. What is this? Helm of the Dominator on Darkseer?
Yeah, it was actually very prominent at the start, where you could just surge a creep,
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
preferably a centaur. You just run in with a surged iron shelled creep, get a stun off, and then
On
you
top lane, they're gonna
run
go
it
on to
yourself.
BZ. There's some help coming, but Spirit think, no, we better get the hell out of there. He snaps the call with the spin, but Ace is there, has to show with the mobility, able to ensure the kill after all.
Yeah, and
Now there's a
this is a bit of an over TP from C9. They didn't need all those heroes up top, and there is not actually a tower to push there, so instead they're moving towards the right bit.
It's the Joe. Are you AFK or something? No. So he does get caught out. Nonetheless, Iceberg, one more right click, still gets the kill. So Ace in the right place at the right time, showing off his Shadow Blade. Now trying to maybe catch someone else off guard. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, maybe not Advenge make a trade out of it, but Ace and Noya up top can't even keep up with all these kills all over the map now. But overall,
Yeah, Team
C9 coming out ahead.
Team Spirit are just not getting the pickoffs they want. Oh, well, there's one at least.
That's one, yeah. That's an odd roll actually coming as well. Baby Knight somehow managed to get his way up to a killing spree. Easy claiming that one for himself, getting closer to the Manta style. Meanwhile up here,
Oh,
Radiant's bottom
speaking
tower
of killing
has fallen.
sprees.
yeah, Ace is getting really big. He has really enjoyed his time up on the bottom lane.
I'll take that. Worthy tribute.
What do you think about the Shadow Blade pickup in general? And this game in particular?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I really,
Dire's structures are fortified.
I have my doubts. It's good
Radiant's bottom
for
tower is under attack.
not giving away your movement mostly. Like, you're not going to get in and out of fights with it, because you're going to get dusted, you're going to get glimpsed, you're going to get the corrosive haze on top of you. But as a way to obscure your map movements, it is pretty dang solid. So I think that's the way he's got to use it.
Radiant's
And
middle
they got to
tower is
keep
under
Team
attack.
Spirit split up here.
It's DK Phobos and his creep. Nigel on the Alpha Ball of the Silence. Also control from Joe. They will bring it down, the assassinate just in case. You gotta be careful about feeding these health creeps, but in the meantime, Vengeful Spirit caught out on the wrong side of the kinetic field. Vanscore will be punished for it. Turn it into 2-4 trade, maybe 3-for-1. Look at this! So much burst, no spin from Juggernaut coming out. I don't think he expected this much damage.
He did not. And I think this is, well, in the first game, Team Spirit were the ones with the hero that the other team didn't understand, namely the Tiny. And in this case, the Puck is doing so much work.
Joe's one of his heroes here. Follow-up silence here, despite the Yules, defensive Yules. Queen of Pain forced into that, but yeah, 2 sources of silence means you have 1 for before and 1 for after.
Yeah, it's pretty telling that he got forced into buying heals in the first place. And now he finds out that it won't even save him.
Both of these heroes there anyway. Oh, he shows his face up top, gets bonus strike on starter. Help is on the way. Joe chasing FNG. Oh, they missed the coil. That's unfortunate. That would have been a kill otherwise. As it stands now, he just gets glimpsed back into another crush. Potentially here, Noya will have to man fight up against FNG. Instead, he just tries to walk away. Static Storm used on the Puck, but not keeping him there. They'll win this particular skirmish. They'll also end up bringing down Puck with BC making rotation for him. But then, Ace, Baby Knight come in and try and bring down the starter. And they will, but what cost? The cost of the Aegis here. Didn't even notice them going for Roche. Meantime, just went so fast. But Ace doesn't actually have the Shadow Blade, and 3 heroes around him. Rise might have to go for defensive swap. Not even gonna be worth it with the vacuum bringing them close anyway. This time it's C9 biting up a bit more than they can chew. Baby Knight also finds himself in a really tough position. You're trying to make some grapple on Iceberg, but very hard to get
that was
target.
costly.
That was just ice too big for the stomach, I guess.
Dire's bottom tower is
Yeah, it's... If they use the fight on top as a distraction tactic to go for Roche, that's fine. But then you should just take the Roche as winning the trade instead of going top and trying to make use of these heroes that you can see up there. That was a bit too fast, a bit too rushed. And now they don't have the H's anymore. And they gave up a full team wipe as well.
C9 is very strong if they're the ones dictating the pace of the fight. And if they can go in, get that quick pick off while they're using their control factors. As it stands, without that, and look at this again. This Helm creep will be punted down by Hestia because that's worth 125 gold. That's at least the 3rd or 4th creep I've seen that Team Spirit feed. Gotta watch out for that.
Yeah, he needs to pay attention to his micro. Pressure on top. Spirit is not going to react to this. They want to trade instead. They might not even trade the tower. They just trade jungles for now.
Baby Knight might be in trouble though. See in the jungle area. Pops a drum charge. Gets glimpsed back, but he'll help on the way. He realizes this too. He is trying to go for the kill onto Iceberg, forcing him to use up and pop the Invis. Ultimately, he will survive, get healed up by that. Middle lane, Ace tries to go for the 9, does it actually.
Nice.
Good on that.
I'm actually surprised to... Yeah. Surprised to see the sniper going for a Yasha first instead of finishing up his Hurricane Pike. I think if he had the Hurricane Pike, he might have actually been able to make the escape there. And the gap closing on Team Spirit is going to be his problem. So...
Well, running into each other now. Ace gets blown up. He just walks. Tries to walk across the entire team. Venska will well play Static Storm. Also finishes off a Puck. Glimpse back Kanoya, so that'll be another casualty. More than likely, there it is. Rise unable to help out. Sticking around for a little bit too long now. Iceberg went on the blink, but gets stunned up on the tier 3. Not sure what that was about, but helped up. Another swap back. This time he has to blink off cooldown. Glimpse back now onto Rise. Can't walk through the wall again. I think it just gets slowed down. BCC with spin as well as that Iron Shell. A lot of damage over time.
Not sure
once
that
again with just a
wall usage.
Yeah, one kill after the other.
Yeah. They don't have the wall to move up on the high ground now though. So I expect to see them, yeah, they're backing off actually.
Still plenty of objectives left to be taken outside of the high ground, so I don't think you want to commit for that anyway.
And if you're Cloud9 right now, you're gonna be worried about losing all these towers. You are the one with Drow. You're the one that should be working away at the from a distance. Oh, they got ace.
This is starting to look worse and worse. Team Spirit getting a lot more than they should at this point.
They really managed to break C9's tempo at the fight up top, and they're not letting go right now. So if I'm Team Spirit right now, I would feel pretty confident that if I just get my tempo up, that C9 would not have a good way to go back into the game. The gold lead of C9 has actually reverted already. It's back into the favor of Team Spirit.
Also translating, items Iceberg after the duels has the Aghanim Scepter now finished, so that turns it into a 40-second cooldown on a Sonic Wave, which is pretty damn good in a game like this where you have a bunch of squishy heroes. And with Meanwhile on bottom, actually gonna take a fight. Doxy dies first, Primal Spring onto FNG, and he's still being locked down by that Dream Call. BZZ comes through with a blink on top of the Monkey King. Just bring it down with a couple of extra right clicks.
That was a really nice trade for C9.
Yep.
It was the first time we saw the Dream Coil plus the Wukong's command, and it worked out very nicely. So BZZ can only really clean up after that, and C9 may have just gotten themselves a little bit of leeway.
I think they're gonna take these kind of trades where, like, even if they trade even, as long as the cores are still alive, at least Baby Knight and Ace. As long as they're alive, as long as they're farming or even getting some of these kills, I think they're gonna be fine with it, because they need a little bit more time to buy more utility to try and deal with what Team Spirit have in terms of burst and initiation. I feel like they could use BKBs in this game quite a lot.
For sure. Something else that's interesting to notice is that the ward coverage for Team Spirit is far from ideal right now. They have got nothing up, and in the meanwhile C9 has that deep ward up top and a defensive one on bottom, basically claiming 2/3 of the map for themselves, all the way up to this line over here. So
glimpses around the Roche pit, but yeah, now Team Spirit is also starting to get some of these extra wards out to remedy that situation.
yeah, they really needed to temporize here, get their grip back, but you can already see a drawing on the map.
It's a big gap
C9
now.
is going for a smoke.
Full 5-minute smoke. Gonna run into most of Team Spirit right now. We do have DK Focus on the other side of the map, 10 seconds in the TP, so should be able to join
not
once the
fight up
fight
to the high
starts,
ground.
but BZZ gonna be the first one to be caught out and brought down instantly, and this is a great start for C9. Without him, I don't think they can really fight here. Leap up to the trees, but the rest of Spirit already trying to run as far away as possible, but C9... Bloodlust has caught them here. Ah, the silence misses on FNG. Neuer still gets a stun off on the Primal Spirit here. Assassinate, do some extra damage. DK Focus with a TP through. Ready to turn us around, but Neuer gets a look at his command out. Just his own. Baby Knight with a vision blink. Instant swap though, and FNG ends up falling to Baby Knight. Follows silence on Vanskor. The vacuum comes out, but DK Focus didn't get the memo that this fight was already over. Now the silence on Iceberg still gets this the blink off because there's no extra control, but the damage has already been done.
And I thought they could go
heroes
around
in
it.
a casual chain feed, and yeah, now this tower pushing comes into place. E9 brought it down to T2. Now they're looking for high ground. No buyback just yet, but they have to wait for next creep wave at the very least, thanks to this Axe ultimate.
That was all the beautiful swap from Rise.
Yeah.
Spirit thought they could fight around the Thunderdome, but Rise just puts them back into it, and Spirit are committed. They gotta go.
Glimpse kind of off the
they
mark
do not
as
like-
Joe comes in. Dual Scepter. Now he has his own Dual Scepter to work with as well to know some of that extra damage. Neuer comes in. Now the spinners put waste a beautiful boundless strike. Also catches Loud and coil down absolutely everybody. Forces them to blink out, but BZZ, well, he can't do that. Neither can Vanskor. Sestujo tracks him down, gets himself a double kill, and just like that, 3 more heroes take a spill. The fresh creep wave is there. It can be taken care of by the Queen of Pain. We're already set up for that. With nice vacuum more coming. Actually, so much burst damage being done to C9. Now they're the ones who are dying. Ace, no health, no mana, but he's covered on Shadowblade. Demonator, he's ready to fight. Iceberg just with the random damage. Random AoE in the back gets the kill. And I don't think C9 want to continue this here, just with limited utility left on these last neutral heroes. I don't think they expected this much to come out.
They did not see the combo coming. They had no vision up on that high ground. And you can sort of see the Queen of Pain and the Darkseer looking at each other and going like, yeah, these guys are very fragile. We're just gonna blow them all the way to the moon. And they did.
They've really no sustain to speak of on the side of C9. They don't even have a helm of their own for that extra passive region. They have no mechanism of any kind, no sustained spells, no urn. There's no urn actually on Veterans Weird, but it's hard to win.
Very all in.
Spirit for Roshan of their own that started to make this easy. Yeah, but Noya now props the ultimate, gets stunned up by the Centaur and brought down inside the Static Storm, more than likely, so that would be command. Far from affected, there's still gonna be enough to set up for a kill on one, but now Rise being caught out, meanwhile in the back. Something happening here. Well, Ace starting to right click left, right, and center. It's only the creep though now. As the Joe trying to take care of Vansko, and he will, but now BZ up against Ace, forcing him into the Shadowblade. Hesijo still sticking around, but he's a puck with a blink, with the Yules, with face shift. He should be able to survive this, but Ace maybe not so much. Omni Slash, he tanks up the whole lot. Shrine,
that was a miscalculation
not gonna be
from him
enough.
there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Radiant's middle tower
He needed
is under
to
attack.
keep an eye on the Shadowblade. The reliance in this
Spirit will
right
finish the
there.
rush.
Yep. They're left alive with way too many heroes. So Joe can maybe try and snag it if he's a monster. Oh yeah? Not quite.
You're gonna
With the
try?
vision nurse, yeah, he's gonna have to get closer. Now he's actually coming in here. Joe didn't get it. He did not. He did.
Yeah,
He
he
got
did.
the agency, got the last hit even on Roshan! And now he's a puck, so he should be able to get himself out of there too. Maybe, maybe not. Phase shift. Or, yeah, he's surviving.
He is.
For now, yeah, Iceberg, he
Fine.
really wants revenge. They'll get it on Rise at the very least. Was it worth it for C9 though?
You're not breaking the tempo here. There's too many heroes dead yet again.
Structures are fortified.
But I like to say in the long run, yes.
Top
Because
tower has fallen.
Team Spirit can't really go on right now. You can see them falling back already. This is too dangerous with the Drow backup.
That as tribute.
And I think if you lose the Aegis there, you lose 2 towers.
Yeah, for sure. So in that sense, C9, they're really committing. They're really committing hard to this playstyle, and they're like, all right. We know that we have to play balls to the wall in this one, and that's exactly what they're doing. Hesijo, absolute MVP for them this game. Both in
Yeah,
lane
he's been
and
playing great.
afterwards, with like setting up so many kills. 11, 6, and 15. This guy. And
That's an
high octane
off-lane
game.
puck.
Yeah. Look at these kills goes by. 32 and 38, and we're barely 30 minutes into it.
That's more than 2 kills a minute.
Yeah.
These people are not letting up. So I'm
the
curious
graphs,
to see
oh
where
yeah.
the
Look at the gold graph. Right around the 0 line.
see. Yeah, up and down, up and down. Both dips have been, well, both the dip and the up have been one team breaking the other's tempo, getting their grip back on the game, and I think both of them have about an equal chance of winning this right now. It's all about who gets the jump, who catches the other out of position.
Do you see any items coming out soon that would change the
Founder's
dynamic any?
fortune.
Because like, on both sides we already have some very combat effective items, especially once again the puck. Use it for an Agnum Scepter, which is great up against especially your Juggernaut and any potential BKBs, and now going back for the Dagon with some extra damage.
Yeah, and Baby Knight actually still hasn't finished picked up that Hurricane Pike. We are fully committed here. He is going in for a Daedalus instead. He does not need mobility, he needs damage.
Yeah, he knows if he gets caught out, like the fight's done anyways, he just relies fully on his team to set up for him. But now Rise actually finding them here, and look at this, BZZ dies first, DK Phobos with the back combo, trying to do it, but it's only Neuer who's taking the damage here. Now Joe with the control, they're trying to focus on Iceberg. Nice little dodge there on the Assassinate, but the right clicks are still there. DK Phobos just trying hard to do something, but all he can do is try and walk away. Ace with a casual triple kill, just sitting there, throwing down arrows.
They vacuumed the puck out of the Disruptor ulti.
What? Oh no.
Yeah, that was so unfortunate. Like, if that doesn't happen, that's an absolutely great Disruptor ult. But he gets out of the wall, and he gets the opportunity to escape.
That's true.
And they suffer the consequences.
Sorry, it was just a little bit nibbled by Joe. He dropped his items on one shrine for efficiency, then he walks. It wasn't quite enough to bring him back to full, so just walks over to the other without picking the items up.
Yeah, he looked pretty naked there for a moment. But Team Spirit, they were initiating because the Slaughter wasn't even in that entire fight. He initiated over on the left, and then before his team could follow him like down here, they were all gathered and fighting here, while the Slaughter was just picked off somewhere on the side.
That was, I think that was the key reason why C9 won that fight. I mean, they had Rise and Neuer in the front line, who still did some work. They were the ones who, like, poking the Team Spirit side and say like, here, look at who it is. We're coming in, we're backstabbing you. So it's like the Static Storm being dropped down, the back combo, even the ultimate from the campaign. I think it only caught Neuer. So a lot of this commitment, a lot of this attention to Team Spirit was split between these two sides, and ultimately that led to the damage he was from C9 being able to stay alive, and Joe being able to provide enough follow-up control to secure actual kills.
For sure. You need to be able to use all of that burst damage to get at least one of these big damage dealers down. Ideally the Drow, but I think you'd settle for the Sniper. And then after you can take the fight, but they got neither. So right now both teams are mostly trying to get those lanes pushed out so that they can... Oh. Ace, are you okay? Ace is more than okay, look at the damage!
I think the answer is yes, and I'm pretty sure Juggernaut flopped the coil. He didn't have much of a choice. It's kind of a damn if you do, damn if you don't kind of situation. You know, against Aghanim Scepter, so if you break that call, it's what, 3 seconds of stun? 4.5 seconds, never mind. But if he stayed in, he would have died just as surely. Wow.
Yeah, there was nowhere to run. They went in for a quick pick-off and they just didn't realize that there were heroes all up behind that.
Alright, now look at this, C9. They were caught out in a similar position earlier. So this is why we see them spread out very, very far from each other. There's not the down by DK Phobos again, because still a decent amount of damage here.
Yes.
Vacuum wall into Crush now, SFG comes back ready with the blink. Plus Southern Wave, Static Storm and everything, but don't even need to get close to bring down a Rex. You can take a ridiculous amount of damage. The Sniper alone.
And a ridiculous amount of range. So, these buildings are gone. And if Team Spirit doesn't watch out, this is just gonna happen again. You jump on someone, you get counter-initiated, you lose all of your buildings. There's no way to hold them.
To hold on to this particular shrine, which is so important for Roshan control. The big guy might spawn pretty damn soon.
I'll take that.
I think both teams are gonna look towards getting that, and both have a very good lineup to fight it. They found Ace again.
Up, they're showing up Scythe onto the Power Ranger, so it's a great kill again. But trying to fight here, vacuum. Command is out though, but against the plate. Rise with a defense swap and SJ gets crushed up as he walks back in. That's actually not good at all. This comes back to what you were talking about earlier. It really comes down to who finds a jump and who gets initiation.
This time they just blew up the drow right off the bat, no hesitation. And as a result, C9 does not pose a threat in the upcoming fight. Just get taken down one by one. So now it's Team Spirit's time to hit some buildings.
They should be focused on a couple of buybacks here unless C9 let's go with this set of racks. I'd be too surprised considering they have that super creep advantage already. Right? One buyback from SJ. Rise and Noya will come back in a couple of seconds. No ace for 30. They're actually having a hard time bringing down this tower. All this extra armor. And they're all stepping for it. Maybe swap back potential damage. Rise comes back in. Final strike it. It does some extra damage. But now the crush vacuum. Oh no. C9, what have you done? Baby Knight lives back into the front lines. They have to buy back now as Ace finally returns normally.
They tried to make the optimal play there by holding them off with just a couple of heroes, but instead they overcommit.
Comes out, Noya trying to absorb as much as he can. Bloody Storm makes it a little bit harder. Baby Knight and Ace, and they're caught out with the crush from MG. They have to deal with this hero before they can throw actually beautiful damage in the backlines. He's bashing and crushing so much, setting up for Iceberg, but now he's being silenced up. Yield Scepter to follow up. He throws down the ultimate. Baby Knight dodges it, so and as a result, they can still get the kill. That Omni Slash wasted from BCC, so now he has to run away. I don't even know what's going on anymore. So much bloodshed in this mid lane, but somehow they keep the Rex alive. So is this still a worthwhile hold for C9?
I don't think so. They had to buy back on pretty much everyone there. Even though they already had the enemy mid-Rex, they could have just traded. And instead they expend all of this gold to maintain what is a very minimal advantage. A side Rex is worth more than a mid-Rex, simply because of the fact that you will actually force a team to move over to a specific side of the map to deal with it.
Yeah.
And a mid lane can always easily be pushed out again. So this is risky, and Baby Knight, didn't he just buy back?
Yeah, glimpse back. He gets a kill, but at what cost? He'll die to BZ inside the static storm, so I guess he can get the long cooldown out of the books, and now if they can catch BZ, that'd be great as well. They do have that axe coil available. Meanwhile, though, around the Rush Pit, Ace with a DD rune will be controlled up by FNG, back in for Phobos. I have no idea what's going on. Ace on the outside of the pit all of a sudden. Now the Wukong's command here in the area of 3 heroes. Slaughter dies, BCC caught up in that whole shebang as well. And DK Phobos is not in the woods yet either. They blink after him, they catch him with the stun. Limps back on one, but there's still plenty of heroes. They will be able to racking him down in the end. And Venskor TP'd in to help. Right now it's only Rise who's just trying to keep track of him, and he should be able to, especially with Passenger all joining in. This will be another kill eventually. All the meanwhile, Ace just trying to solo Roche. This game, I don't know if I can survive this. Oh, he's sitting the invis here. Seems pretty. As Iceberg comes in. Oh, it's just so smart actually, sitting on the edge too. So this observer ward from Dire's side cannot scout him out. So Iceberg, he was looking for the kill on Ace, but he couldn't get it because he was waiting for his team to catch up.
And now it's actually worth it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I can handle this game, kids. If it goes on like this, I just die of a heart attack in the middle of it.
That Wukong's command was just murder. They could not get to him. And yeah, C9 gives up a couple of kills again, but that's worth it.
Sorry. They actually catch Zara, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Force ups them up to the high ground.
Yeah, and if Team Spirit gives them this shot, it's actually worth it to have that mid lane pushing in all the time. Because normally you would go through the mid, then push the side lane and have 2 lanes up here at the same time. And instead they can just wait for the mid lane to do that on its own. So this is a good moment, as good a moment as any for C9 to get their second set of racks. And they're going to have to, because their 5 backs are down.
But it's high ground ward, just some good combos being down. Ace is still sitting on the outside, but BZZ actually transfers the Omstash over. He will die, loses it. Just has to just a little bit of that, no ultimate to throw up, and at the very least can burst down Iceberg. Immediate buyback, Ace still in the middle of that, able to walk outside of this kinetic field just in time, so this is still alright. You got the tier 3, only lost the supports plus the agent. That was Baby Knight now though. No Hurricane Pike means that yeah, Iceberg will be able to finish the kill even though BZZ gets stopped by the coil.
They lose 2 heroes to that kinetic field, which is, if they lose only 1 there, they probably get to turn that fight around after the Aegis pops. But instead they're 3 versus 4 with the Iceberg buyback. And they can just not make a hold, even though Ace was actually walking up to the high ground over here just to be able to snipe down at everyone. They realized that it was not enough and they had to bail.
I think the biggest problem for C9 was that they didn't check for vision up on the high ground. They had an observer ward there but no sentry. So Team Spirit knew exactly what they were in for when they initiated. Once again, this is what it comes down to. Oh, Iceberg! He's in this, but the sentry ward being plopped down just now. He should still end up dying here, and he does. And that's the dieback too. Swap back into the Static Storm though, as they turn it around themselves. Moya dies. Ace caught in the middle of all of this, being controlled up, but they don't actually have the vision for him. Hestijo, they're focusing on him instead, but he's just able to orb back towards the fountain. And Ace using the personal fountain rise in the middle of that. He will take his mill himself, so. No buyback in him either, they used it earlier actually, it's switching to buyback status. Ace has it available, it's the only one inside of C9, and oh yeah, we'll have it come off cooldown soon. But hey, there it is, Hestijo is going in half without an ultimate even. Just trying to delay as much as they can. Baby Knight's sitting in the side here, right-clicking away, but now he's being slowed down by the field play. BZZ looking for the kill with the Omnislash, will be able to secure despite the fountain. Now Ace, together with Hestijo, caught up with a crush on 2. Trying to make it to another fountain, but it's not gonna work yet. They're all gonna lose their lives now. Trying to delay, trying to hold on to those melee racks. And they might actually have to buy back just to secure the bot racks now. Because of these pickoffs, and there it is Hestijo. He has his ultimate available, but you will need Ace to do the extra damage, despite the Dagon. Despite the plus 420 Blazed ability.
There we go.
There it is. Back forced out as Moya comes back.
Oh,
Moya
I
will
missed the
miss, and that's actually quite costly. Because now Team Spirit can go and rely on their mobility in the fights.
It's 4v4 though. If I'm Team Spirit, I do not take this. I think I'm happy with forcing the buyback here. Oh, but they're going in.
FNG caught out. Just blinks into the trees up against the Monkey King. This is not a safe space, not at all. It used to be all the way back in TA1, all the way up to
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
until Monkey King got a hero,
Yeah.
turned into a hero in this game.
The base Royal Primate strikes again.
Alright, so C9, once again, they somehow hold. They use a lot for it. Once again, throwing the buybacks at Spirit.
Yeah, that was such a bloody mid-rex to take for Team Spirit. Incredible how many C9 lives went to waste over those buildings.
This will come in handy.
6 kills per minute, please. High octane game, if I've ever seen one.
This has been a video game, for sure.
As Gareth would say, yeah, it's been a game of Dota 2. heroes cast spells.
And do a
Right-click
hell of a lot of
right
right-clicking.
Let's actually look at that right now.
Cloud9.
Yeah, Sniper, he has a Deadless, 300 bonus damage, 160 base. Ace, something similar levels, so about 500 for each of those. This is a big smoke. They can secure some kills there. They have already thrown down the scan, which will not clip anybody though.
Was very close.
I'll take
This
that as
mid lane is back in the balance,
Surprise!
which means they can't just sit behind it and wait for it to push because it's not going to anymore. So instead, they move towards the bottom shrine.
And these are worthy targets. 150 gold each. So 1500 gold for both shrines.
Not to mention a very important point in the map control because you can still teleport towards them. And it takes so much mobility away from a team when they're not able to do that anymore.
What that smoke did was secure that shrine, but it's also secure the jungle. So I can pump up a little bit. And the push is still coming though, and I want to give Team Spirit the advantage because they have all the buybacks in the world. At least on the Juggernaut, as well as the Darkseer and the Slug. Who are very important control factors so far. They might want to hold on a little bit longer until Iceberg also has his own.
They're actually waiting for the rush, which hasn't really happened so far this game. Everyone was content to just run at each other instead of looking for the extra security.
That being said though, I believe that's the 4th rush coming up because the last one included a cheese.
Yeah, it's
The
the
last
fourth.
Roshan fight, that worked out very well for C9, so maybe they can repeat that at the same time. The very slow respawn time. FNG, if he's patient enough, he'll slow down immediately. C9 with the smoke, they expected that this could be perhaps the play. This could be an early Roche, and Team Spirit sort of grouped up, but not really here. They see DK focused on bottom, so this will be the time to go. Smoke breaks on Rise. They see BZZ as he goes for the rune, but they cannot get to jump on top of him. And this gives Team Spirit time to consolidate their forces. They're grouping up themselves. They got themselves an Alpha Wolf, which is super nice.
Big man is up. T9 has positioned themselves on their high ground.
Gotten that pick off on BZZ that could have actually made or broken their team fight as it stands. Pushing up the middle lane a little bit. 9 waiting on the high ground.
Spirit scout with the Alpha Wolf at first. They'll notice that there's no one on the primary high ground here, so they're gonna have to assault this fortress here if they want to go into it. And instead, they are like, all right, you can come down to us instead, C9.
C9 technically should have the vision advantage here, just with the being able to throw down the orbs. Was Moya just slowly inching forward. There's no war to speak of for either team right now.
This is a standoff as old as time.
Yeah, this might very well decide the game. If C9 can delay this for another 1.5 minutes, they're gonna have buyback on Ace as well as Hessinger again. At least when it comes to cooldowns. Ace is actually have enough money, not by a long shot. This might turn into an issue if he does get caught out in the middle of this. Starting to chip away. See inside the mid, they have the reading one use on the other side. Hessinger waiting for an opportunity, but now he gets jumped on actually. They tried to jump on him. Static comes out, he still has the ult, so that's an end. Eventually waits the Static, so Moya throws down a Wukong's command just for zoning. They can start roaching themselves now really quickly, then this could be worthwhile. As it stands, also nice and silence down too. Then styles it off on BZZ. Joe actually gets bursted down. He doesn't have the core. Already used a little bit earlier. And meanwhile, back vacuum wall on 2. It's Rice and Baby Knight being brought down. Ace, where's he at? He's just trying to play up against Queen of Pain, but he has plenty of utility right now to just deal with them once in silence.
That escalated so quickly.
That is a devastating loss for C9. They have to let go of this Roshan. They have to hold on, try and hold on to the base. Baby Knight
Roshan
does a
is falling to the
buyback.
tower.
Actually, you just use it now, doesn't it? And Tessa Joe's buyback will come back on cooldown. As he does have it available to high ground as it stands. What is going on here? Ace, you cannot afford this! You cannot afford being caught out like this. His buyback comes with cooldown, but he does not have enough money, and if Team Spirit realizes that, then they can win the game right now.
I think they could also not afford to not take the chance. This top wave is huge. If he gets past them, if he gets to ride this wave all the way to the top racks, he might actually give Spirit enough reason to retreat. But instead he gets caught. There's no more split pressure, and the buildings are falling.
As soon as they hit the top racks, they then realize that Ace not buying back. They could go all the way. They could go all the way to Mega Creeps. Makes it almost impossible tonight to win this game if it goes any longer. Need to win a big team fight right the hell now. Men will start there, taking on the Aegis, but they will lose much more. It still has buyback. Vacuum on to Baby Knight, trying to make it all the way back to the fountain. Vacuum back out, side of it, and he will die, and this is it!
Middle tower is under attack.
All three damaging cores without buyback. C9 forced to call the GG, and what is one of the most action-packed games of Dota I've seen in a while. Team Spirit secure the 2-0 victory in the best of 4 series, and they will face up, move on to the finals and face up against